The staff feels warm and almost alive in your hand. You hear an eerie voice in your head.
This I must first do. The sacrifice of life for one of love.
You find yourself letting go of the staff very quickly.
I heard that someone burned down the old monastery. Isn't it strange how you were seen around that building recently?
You tell Olga that the gatekeeper's name is Boris Stovich and ask if they're related.
Aha! So that's where the so-and-so went. Huh? Tell him he's a rotten no-goodnik. As my lost husband used to say, may all your travels lead somewhere.
When the days are short and the nights grow long, a friendly face is a welcome sign.
You tell Boris what Olga said about him. He blushes.
Olga was always opinionated. I grew tired of listening to her complain about me all the time. Come back again sometime. It's good to have someone to talk to, besides myself.
More missing people. Now old Nikolai is gone. What is this town coming to?
You tell Olga that Boris says she complains about him all the time.
Well, if he'd ever been here to get his work done instead of spending all his time carousing at the inn, I wouldn't have had to complain. And you can tell him I said so, huh? Yeah, good night, and don't let the bedbugs...
Tell him that Olga thinks he was too lazy.
Lazy? What was there to do in a shop with no customers? Once the swamp cut off trade here, we had nothing to sell. I had nothing to do there, so just because I would sit at the inn and talk with the other men, she thought I was lazy. All she ever did was sit around and give me orders when I was in the shop. What was the point of dusting if no one came in the shop to notice the dust?
You again! Heard anything interesting lately?
You tell Olga that Boris didn't like being ordered around all the time.
Ah, I wouldn't have had to order him around if he would only have done his work. I just wanted the shop to be neat and clean in case anyone came in. How does he expect me to do all the work around here by myself? This was his family's business after all. Yeah, good night.
You tell Boris that Olga is having trouble running the shop without him.
There is much to do to keep the shop straightened up. My family always worked together to keep it going before. If only Olga wouldn't nag me all the time. She and I used to enjoy running the shop when we actually had things to sell. What is the point of even running a shop when there is no business?
Tell Olga that Boris doesn't see any reason to keep the shop open when there's nothing left to sell.
No business. You just tell that man about my avocado and garlic sandwiches. People come in and buy them all the time.
You tell Boris about Olga's avocado and garlic sandwiches.
How I used to love her avocado and garlic sandwiches. We had them on our wedding night, you know. You should have seen the garlic and avocado flowers decorating our wedding cake. Oh, beautiful. And she baked the cake herself. Oh, she always was a good cook. You remind me of how much I miss my wife. I shall go back and visit her. May the sun and the moon keep watch over you.
After some rest, you hear movement. After a few minutes,
So Dmitri says the gypsy didn't really kill Igor after all. Then there's that one about the Easter bunny.
Wait, you didn't hear? That foolish gravedigger fell into a grave, and he was trapped by his own gravestone. He's dumber than a styrofoam cup.
Right. It's just lucky for Igor the stranger happened to wander by before he starved to death.
You are all fortunate that the stranger rescued Igor. You would have burned an innocent man. Well, I still think the gypsy's a werewolf. Well, gypsy returned to his people, I suppose.
Yeah, that gypsy camp is somewhere to the east of town, by the shopping mall.
I still think the punk was a werewolf.
Did you ever see him turn into a wolf?
Well, no.
Did he have hairy hands and pointy ears like Leonard Nimoy?
Well, no.
You see, it's all your fault, blathering on about those stupid, foolish folk tales. Why, we could have harmed an innocent man.
Yeah, I knew all along. There's no such thing as werewolves.
Well, Gravedigger returned to town safely, and he can get back to his job overcharging us for those fakakta gravestones.
Yeah, he's even got full medical and dental.
After all, the gravedigger was at work all the time, so to speak.
Well, things ought to settle back to abnormal now. What with our little buddy Igor returning and all.
Yep, we can go back to being open and friendly.
And as always, suspicious of strangers.
you get a fine meal of roast duckling a la garlic.
It was very kind of you to aid Igor. It has been a long time since we have had someone as heroic as you in Moldavia, yeah? Forgive us if we have seemed so unkind to you. It is just that we have lived so long in fear.
Say, did you hear that the gravedigger returned to town unharmed?
Did you know that the gypsy has been released?
Were you aware of the fact that rumor has it that you saved both Igor and the gypsy?
So you found Igor in the grave? Whew! Lucky for old Ig you came along.
Otherwise, poor little Iggy would be dead.
Well, at least he had a decent burial.
The gypsy has returned to his people, I guess. It is a good thing for him that you were in town. Now that Igor is back here with us, perhaps someday I will welcome him into the inn. He was always so strange, and no one had anything to do with him. I never imagined I would miss him before. It is a great relief to me that the gypsy has been released. I had not been looking forward to watching him burn at the stake. No man should die so hard.
I was very worried about the gypsy. It was just like those 3 old yentas to accuse the wrong man. Oy, I'm so glad the gypsy is free. I don't know if gypsies are werewolves, and I don't really care. As long as they don't harm anyone, they have as much right to live in Mordavia as we do.
Bella!
Don't you believe that, Yuri?
Maybe.
Well, when you see your gypsy friends again, you may tell him that Yuri and Bella will welcome him in town.
Now, I never said that.
Oh, but you meant it, didn't you? You are a man of your word, after all. Oh, that is right. We hadn't been properly introduced. Yuri, will you introduce us?
This is silly. You've met before.
Still, it would be nice to be properly introduced. Please, Yuri?
This is Bella Markarov, my wife and keeper of the kitchen.
You introduce yourself in return.
I am very honored to meet you.
My husband Yuri doesn't like for me to talk to strangers. He thinks they may be dangerous. But clearly, you are not dangerous. You are a hero. We need a hero here.
Bella?
Oh, Yuri, I'm just saying how welcome he is in Mordavia.
I always leave a supper out for him behind the inn. He looks strange and a little frightening, but I think he is really a good person. He's always so polite to me. I'm not sure what he means by graveyard humor, though. At least he seems to enjoy himself.
The innkeeper's wife is a sturdy but not unattractive peasant woman. You kiss Bella's hand.
Oh, no one has ever done that to me.
Done what?
Oh, he kissed my hand, Yuri.
Well, he better not kiss anything else.
Oh, how lovely. I'll put these in some water in the kitchen. Thanks so much. You know, I love flowers.
You unlock the door to your...
So you're back. No, it's your front. Take a seat. No, take 2. They're small. I got a joke just for you, so don't look so sheepish.
The gnome is just plain folks. It's good to have my wit about me again. Nothing worse than someone who can't take a joke or one that tries to tell one and can't. Before you helped me, when I told a joke, people always clapped their hands. Unfortunately, it was always over their ears. Now, whenever I tell a joke, I get carried away. So I'm leaving before they ride me out of town on a nail. A short joke there.
Did you hear the one about the dwarf who is so dumb, he always stops to think and then forgets to start again? Everything that's said to him goes in one ear and out the other. There's nothing there to block traffic. I can tell dwarf jokes all day, mainly because there are none around to stop me. In another minute, I'm gonna say my bye-bye and fly. I'm going south for the winter, down where the nights are balmy, and so am I. Heading for Silmaria, land of winter waterland, where there's no snow nor cold wind to blow. Up here, the winter is so cold, even the wind howls about it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all you others. I'd like to say how glad I am to be here. I'd like to say it. Seriously, folks, staying at the Hotel Mordavia has been like staying at a resort. A last resort. My room is so small, the mice are hunchbacked. I couldn't even complain about the room service. There wasn't any to complain about. And the innkeeper's wife really went out of her way to make me feel at home. She ignored me completely. I wasn't feeling well, so I went out to visit the local doctor. You know, Dr. Cranium. He's the guy with the 3 pairs of glasses, one for nearsightedness, one for farsightedness, and one to look for the other 2. I said to the doctor, my heart keeps making a strange noise. It keeps going tick, tick, tick. Aha, said Dr. Cranium. We have ways of making you talk. Next, I went to visit the local store. If you don't know what's up, then you haven't seen their prices lately. And the shopkeeper, what a gossip. She suffers from acute indiscretion. I dislike repeating gossip, but what else can you do with it? And boy, oh boy, the monster's in this place. If I ever come face to face with a revenant, I know what steps I'd take. Long ones. What would I do if ever I saw a Narrator? Hope it didn't see me. Actually, folks, I'm up here for a good reason. A jester's ambition is to be healthy, wealthy, and wisecracking. If it weren't for my friend the hero over there, I couldn't make a hyena laugh. So, when you've lost your wit, broken your funny bone, and none of your puns are fun, it helps to have a hero handy. You know, that reminds me very little of the story about the gravedigger who was so bored he buried himself in his work. You know, I could tell you some more jokes, but you'd only laugh at them. So long and be good. If you can't be good, then be careful.
The gnome takes a deep bow and gets down off the stage. That's funny, you always thought he got down off a duck. Ha! The townspeople explode into spontaneous applause.
Keep smiling. It makes people wonder what you've been up to. So, was that funny, or are you just keeping your mouth shut?
The gnome was very odd and said very strange things. Yet Mr. Bones was very funny this time, and I enjoyed listening to him. There will be no more entertainment acts at this hotel. Understood? At least not until a new, funny entertainment arrives. I think I am sorry to see the strange gnome leave. It was odd being able to laugh again, if only for just a moment.
You know, he wasn't such a bad person once you got to know him.
Yeah, except for that drooling problem, we'd welcome him in Moldavia if he ever came back.
I still wouldn't let him marry my daughter, though.
You don't have a daughter.
Well, that might constitute a major obstacle to marrying her.
Gentlemen, I was dangerously close to being amused this evening.
I'll tell you, I had a great time, a great time!
Laughed so hard I almost lost my lunch.
Now that was an evening of, thank goodness, rare entertainment.
I was okay. I laughed till I stopped.
I'm telling you guys, it was boffo. I even got some of the jokes.
You've never seen so many locks and bars on a door.
It is very if you...
Well, it's so long, it's been nice to know you. I like you. I have no taste, but I like you. If you ever make it to Silmaria, look me up. I never forget a friend, especially if he owes me money. But seeing as how it's me that owes you one, I'd better get while the going's good. See ya, and don't take any wooden kopecks. So, everyone, I'll leave you with this story. A man runs up to his doctor and says, "Doc, you gotta help me. I keep thinking I'm a goat." The doctor asked, "How long have you had this delusion?" The guy replied, "Ever since I was a kid." Bada-boom. That just goes to show you I'm one bad dude. It's been sheer pleasure here, but I'm gonna take it on the lam and just bleed it. Be seeing you.
The massive gate to this town is securely barred to protect it from things that go bump in the night. You cannot leave the town this way. You use the tree to climb up over the gate and out of town.